आप्यायन्तु ममाङ्गानि वाक्प्राणश्चक्षुश्रोत्रमथो बलमिन्द्रियाणि च सर्वाणि सर्वं ब्रह्मोपनिषदम् माहं ब्रह्म निराकुर्याम् मा ब्रह्म निराकरोत् अनिराकरणमस्त्वनिराकरणं मे अस्तु तदात्मनि निरतेय उपनिषत्सु धर्माः ते मयि सन्तु ॐ शान्ति शान्ति शान्तिः. In this 51st session or class on Chāndogya Upanishad, we shall enter the 8th section of the 8th chapter of this Upanishad from the Samaveda. The story began in the 7th section itself of how asuras and suras, demons and gods, both heard a proclamation from Prajapati to the effect, whoever knows the pure self will attain the greatest glory. All worlds are his or hers. All his or her desires are fulfilled. There is nothing higher than self-realization. Both asuras, the demons, and suras, the gods, heard this, and both became very desirous of getting to know this pure self, Atma. And that is how in the 7th khanda, which we saw last time, both asuras and suras send none less than their kings to Prajapati to get that knowledge. And when they approach Prajapati, as it is implied in the sacred text, they were asked to spend some time preparing their body and mind for the highest wisdom, calling it Brahmacharya, which is Gurukula Vasa, with certain norms, certain disciplines, certain daily sadhanas, upasanas, daily exercises to be performed. These two, Indra and Virochana, spent 32 years in Brahmacharya. Adi Shankara himself says in his commentary that when they came, they were filled with likes and dislikes, prejudice, aversions, and so on. But thanks to 32 years of Brahmacharya, disciplined living, they were pretty much free from impurities. Yet, we shall see that both of them commit a blunder in the matter of grasping the teaching of the great divine being called Prajapati. Prajapati says to them, as we saw in the 7th khanda, this Atma is in your own eye. Akshini Purushaha was the expression used. A Purushaha, the divine principle, and that is to be seen in your own eye. Tauha Prajapati Ruvacha Ya Eshaha Akshini Purushaha Drishyate Esha Atma. And this Atma, as was said before, and in the 7th section also, is described as Atma Apahatapatma. There is no sin coming anywhere near it. Vijaraha, Vimrutyuhu, Vishokaha, Vijigatsaha, Apipasaha. Free from old age, free from death, free from sorrow, free from hunger, free from thirst. Satyakamaha, Satyasankalpaha. When you are anchored in this pure self, your desires get fulfilled with no effort on your part. Your resolutions come true. Your thoughts will have such power. So all this was said, and such pure self, Atma, is the Purusha in your own eyes. As it is said in Kathopanishad, Kaschidhiraha Pratyagatmanamaikshat Avritta Chakshu Amritatvamichan. The reference here too is the Purusha in the eyes refers to the pure witnessing consciousness which is making the eyes see. In Drigdrishya Viveka, a Prakarana Grantha, there is a line of logic. Rupam Drishyam Lochanam Drik Tadrishyam Driktu Manasam Drishya Dhi Vrittayaha Sakshi Drigeva Natu Drishyate. You see forms and colors. Those forms and colors are the seen, the eyes are the seer. The eyes themselves are the seen, mind is the seer. Thoughts and emotions of the mind are the seen, and the pure consciousness is the seer. Therefore, behind the names and forms and colors and so on, behind even the eyes, ears and so on, behind even the mind or intellect, there is the light of consciousness. By saying, Ya Esha Akshini Purushaha, Prajapati actually meant turning the eyes inward and being thus looking inward, you realize the pure self. But both Indra and Virochana could not grasp it. They had a certain degree of purification of the mind, but not enough. And towards the end of 7th section that we saw in the 50th class last week, last Friday, they asked Prajapati, when you say in the eyes, with these eyes, we looked into a mirror. Is that image over there the pure self? We looked into water. Is the reflection there the pure self? And in the commentary, Sri Shankaracharya writes, maybe even on a khadga, the shining surface of a sword, you see yourself. So their habit was to look for answer to every question outside themselves. Therefore, though it was said Akshini Purushaha, they took it as what you see with your eyes. In Bhashya of Sri Shankara, the word used is Chaya Kara or Chaya Purusha. Chaya here is not shadow but image. You stand before a mirror, you see your own image. But if you are properly trained, properly guided by a competent teacher, even as you see your image in the mirror, you begin proper Vedantic reasoning. This image is not me. The eyes that see the image are also not me. The eyes which are known by the mind, and that mind also is not me. And I am pure witnessing consciousness. I am the ultimate seer. This is how Shastradhyayana is necessary. You see in this world, a lot of people having even read Vedanta finally settle for some Kundalini Yoga, some Pranayama, some exercises where they may get some powers, some things where they may go around, become popular, write books, guide rich people, famous people, travel around and so on, they have a false sense of having understood the pure self. And deep inside them, they are not happy at all. With all that glamorous way of living, many gurus, alas, are not happy in their heart because the right teaching, I am never what can be known. If you become a popular Vedanta teacher and you get an invitation from some fabulous place, Neeta Ambani invites you to give a lecture at her wonderful new cultural center in BKC, Mumbai, Andhra Kurla complex. Amazing cultural center, Neeta Mukesh Ambani Cultural Center, where there are several auditoriums and many other features. And imagine, Mukesh and Neeta Ambani themselves may call you, come and give a short lecture on Bhagavad Gita. They are basically devoted to Sri Krishna. As you enter that Neeta Mukesh Ambani Cultural Center, beautiful paintings or pieces of art on Srinathji, Sri Krishna as depicted in Nathdwara, and that is to be admired. Right at the entrance, there is so much love and respect shown to Sri Krishna. Now, leave aside all these externalities. Let's go to the level of thoughts. Let's go to the level of emotions. A Vedanta teacher, anybody, you, someone, me, anyone, has a certain thought rising in her or him. Aha, I am now a speaker invited by Ambanis at their world-class facility, cultural center. I am this gun. Whatever is known, I am big, is not the self. Some other day, you feel ashamed of yourself for something you did or said or something that happened to you. You feel so low about yourself. Ask yourself the question, this idea I have about myself, I am low, I am not good, I am fallen, I am sick, I am not talented enough, I am not worthy enough, in whatever way. Ask yourself, this image that I seem to have today about myself, is it truly I? Vedanta basics say, whatever is known is not you. Whatever is known is not you, and you are the light of consciousness. Full stop. You are the light of consciousness, period. But like Virochana and Indra made big mistake. They took that reflection in water to be the pure self. And Prajapati said to them smilingly, yes. He did not say that Chaya Purusha is the pure self. They came to know the Atma. He did not explicitly say the Chaya Purusha, the image, the reflection. The reflection is the Atma, he did not say. He said, you see, with your eyes, you can trace, you can track, you can reach the pure self. And they said, oh, that's what we are asking. Is the pure self in water? Is the pure self in mirror? Is the pure self on the shining surface of a sword? Prajapati smiled and said, the pure self is everywhere. So in Shankara's commentary on the seventh khanda itself, which I quickly revised for my own sake today, this evening, A paragraph raises the question, did Prajapati tell a lie to Virochana and Indra, endorsing, approving, giving a stamp of approval to their idea that the image is the pure self? And it is said no. If Prajapati had said the Chaya Purusha is the self, that would have been a lie. Prajapati said the self is everywhere. If you look at the last mantra, Tauha Prajapati Ruvachaya Eshokshini Purusho Drishyate Esha Atmeti Hovacha Etadamritam Abhayam Etad Brahma iti Atayoyam Bhagavah Apsu Parikhyayate Yascha Ayam Adarshe Katama Esha Ityeshavu Eva, etc. The last part of the last section is Prajapati saying, Yesha u eva eshu sarveshu anteshu parikhyayate. Sarveshu anteshu. There's a big difference between understanding Prahlada as saying Mahavishnu is in this pillar and saying Mahavishnu is everywhere including this pillar. It's a difference. Where is Mahavishnu? Where is your Narayana? My Narayana is in this pillar. Suppose that were the implication. That will be terrible. My Narayana is everywhere, inside and outside, above and below, in the past and the future, and so on. And yes, this pillar is no exclusion. The pillar, this Kamba is not an exception. That's what Prahlada said. Likewise, the Upanishad says, Prajapati says, Eshu sarveshu anteshu parikhyayate. Now you may wonder, they had spent 32 years, at least out of compassion. Prajapati should have said, no, no, not that image, turn inward, etc. See, we have nobody to advise the teacher on his method. Teacher knows that certain things should happen in the student in a natural, organic way. By giving the right words, not much is going to happen. When the students do certain proper tarka, proper yukti, which Indra does eventually, then it happens. No matter how wonderfully a teacher may speak using words, student who is either not ready or is not following the proper yukti. Yukti means logical reasoning. Will only memorize those words. The student also will go somewhere and give a lecture using the same words, same examples, same illustrations, same story and same humor and same. Many of the students of Swami Chinmayananji in those days would almost talk just like him. But there was a big difference. Swamiji had an understanding and the words were secondary. And these boys and girls who studied Vedanta from Swamiji had the words, had the gestures, had the bhava, certain facial expressions, and they knew the jokes that Swamiji had said. They also gave out those jokes without even giving credit to him sometimes. They just gave the jokes or the stories as though everything came from within them. But the most important thing, they did not understand what they were talking. So it's beautifully written over there. There was no lie. Then why did Prajapati not explicitly, clearly say, you got it wrong, boys? Prajapati wanted them to exert on their own. That is the only way when realization takes place. Self-realization cannot be spoon-fed to a student. The student can be helped and the teacher does help him or her to further bring about Chitta Shuddhi. So we enter the 8th Khanda now, chapter 8, section 8. Udasharave atmanam aveksha yadatmano na vijanitah tanme prabhrutamiti. We'll see this slide also later. So, Prajapati says to them, very good, you saw the reflection in water. From the self is, the pure self is everywhere. And after his telling them to do that exercise a little more, they go to a plate or a shallow vessel filled with water and they look into it. Sharava itself means a vessel. Uda stands for Udaka. So Udaka Purne Sharave Patre, they will go and look into it. Again they see it themselves. And Prajapati asks, what did you see? And then they say, we saw again ourselves, Atmanam Pashyavaha, and so on. We'll quickly run through the mantras, then go to the slides. So they say, we again saw ourselves. The words Atma means oneself. So I saw myself there. Just as I have hair, I have nails on my fingers. That image also has nails. The image also has hair on its head. Lomabhyaha, nakhebhyaha. That mantra will come in a slide. And the second mantra won't come in a slide, but let me read it for you. Tauha Prajapati Ruvacha. Prajapati then says to these two, Indra and Virochana, okay, you still believe that you beheld, you saw with your own eyes the pure self. Good. Do one thing. Sadhu Alankritav, dress well. Susuvasanav, decorate yourself. Parishkritav, if your nails have grown too much, if your hair has grown a bit too much, go for a haircut, go for some nail cuts, cut your nails. So, in other words, parishkrita means in many ways, hair and nails and anything else. Suvasanav, wear right dress, and again go and see. They do that, very well dressed, maybe having taken another fresh bath, having put some perfume on themselves, having put some scent on themselves. Go and again look into the Udasharava. And he asks, what did you see? Bhutva Udasharave avekshetam iti. Tau hasadu alankritau suvasanau parishkritau bhutva Udasharave aveksham chakrate. Those who have the Upanishads original in their hands, and maybe some of you may be looking at the mantras, might wonder what is Avekshan Chakrate. I too first thought it's a single verbal form, and then it became clear. Aveksham, one word, Chakrate. Chakrate is dual. That is, when two people do something, the word used is Chakrate. They did. What did they do? Aveksham Chakrate. They did the act of seeing into the water. Aveksham Chakrate. And Tauha Prajapati Ruvacha again, Kim Pashyata. Kim Pashyataha. Again, dual. That is simple present tense. Those of you who have learned a little Sanskrit, Gacchati Gacchata Gachanti, Gachasi, gachatha, gachatha. So gachatha, madhyama purusha, dvivachana. Kim pashyatha, what do you both see? And tauhauchatu, third mantra, yatha eva idam avam. We too, Bhagavaha, O revered sir, we too, the two of us, sadhu alankritau, suvasanau, parishkritau, swaha. Swaha means asmi swaha smaha. Swaha, swa. As dhatu. Asti staha santi. Asi staha sta. Asmi swaha smaha. We are. We are well decorated. We are well dressed now. We are so fresh and fine. We look so handsome, and we went into the near the vessel. We looked at ourselves, and we are happy to tell you the Atma also looks so good now. Because they were convinced that that image is the Atma. And I may laugh. Indra made such a mistake. Nirochana made such a mistake. Maybe we are far better than Indra and Nirochana. Wait a minute. We are making that mistake. Oh, when we look at ourselves in a mirror, and suppose one of us sees that we got a big tummy now, don't we feel a bit sad? Oh my God, I have reduced my tummy. Somebody feels he looks so lean. I need to put on some pounds. We are carrying that idea that we are this body. We are plump or too lean. We are, you know, looking bright or looking dull. Oh, how I wish my hair was darker or I hadn't lost so much hair. All kinds of body ideas come in quick succession in our mind because we have read some Vedanta books. In a Vedanta lecture, or if somebody were to ask us, oh, you have read Atma Bodha and all that. So what are you? What is your true nature? We may say, I am Satchidananda Brahma, you see. We may say, but what is our day-to-day, every moment experience and identification? We are very identified with personality, therefore we have no right to criticize or find fault with Indra and Virochana. This kind of dramatization in a certain story form may sometimes may make us imagine that they were poor in their basics. We would not have made such a big mistake to say the image in the water is the Atma, knowing which you become immortal. We would never have made such an error. We might think like that, taking the story in a very limited sense. The story has deeper significance. Basically, all it means is in what is Anatma, they had a strong sense of it being Atma. Tauha uchatu yad Parishkritau swaha evameva imau bhagavaha sadhu alankritau suvasanau parishkritau ityesha Atma iti. Then again you would wonder whether Prajapati said a lie. Prajapati said, very good. Etad amrutam abhayam etad brahma. He should have said to them, you got it totally wrong. That is not the self which we are talking about. But he says, etad amrutam, etad abhayam, etad brahma. Third mantra. So to quickly tell you, in the Bhashya again, the question is taken up. Why did he not say that is not the self? Self-realization, which gives you liberation, it doesn't come to you by taking the reflection in water to be your ultimate nature. Why did he not say it? The Bhashya answers, out of great compassion, He did not want to unsettle them. At the same time, he didn't tell a lie. He said, yes, because Brahma is everywhere. So when Hiranyakashipu says to Prahlada, is your Narayana in this pillar? Prahlada could have said, don't you have some better place to think about? Why this pillar? There are so many pillars and one pillar you are pointing to. At least you could have said, is Narayana in heaven? Is Narayana in the hearts of all? That would have been a better question to ask. Is he in this pillar you are asking? So Prahlada could have questioned Hiranyakashipu, his father. But Prahlada smiles and says, yeah, he is in this pillar too. Likewise, this teacher here, Prajapati, Etadamrutam Abhayam, Etad Brahma. And the third mantra ends with something that would be very disappointing to the readers. So, both of them, Virochana and Indra, Shanta Hridayav Pravavrajatuhu. They said, they bowed before Prajapati and Shanta Hridayav, highly satisfied. Our job is done. We now know what the pure self is. And they go. And in the fourth mantra, this khanda has 5 mantras. So, Anvikshya, as they were both going, Shanta Hridayav, with a peaceful mind, as they were going, Prajapati feels so sad about them. These are kings, king of Asuras, Virochana, king of Suras, Indra. What a blunder they have committed. Prajapati says to himself, Anupalabhya Atmanam, Ananuvidya. Upalabhya means having got, and Anuvidya means having known. Anupalabhya, Ananuvidya, Vrajataha. Vrajati, Vrajataha, Vrajanti, dual. And Yatara Etad Upanishado Bhavishyanti. Oh, what kind of Upanishad here means wisdom? What kind of wisdom do these two have? Alas, Deva va Asura va te parabhavishyan. With this kind of knowledge, within a short while, they will eat humble pie. They will be defeated. Parabhavishyan. And then we have taken, in fact, the second part of that mantra. Saha Shanta Hridayaha Eva Virochanaha Asuranjagama. Both of them left Prajapati's palace. Both of them were going towards their own place. Indra was walking slowly. Prajapati went very fast and reached his own palace, where a whole lot of asuras, whom we may loosely translate as demons. All the demons were anticipating his arrival and said, oh, could you realize this help? Tell us also. Let us all become immortal. Let us all conquer death. Let us all go beyond old age. They were excited. Virochana says, yes, everything is done. The project is completed. I got it and I'm going to share with you. And he says, showing to his own body, Atma eva iha mahayyaha, Atma paricharyaha. Mahayya, paricharya is like the well-known word karya. Karya means something that to be done, that's to be done. Neya, something to be led. Bhojya, something that ought to be or can be eaten. So Mahayya, something that has to be looked at with great feeling. Adore. Paricharya, something that needs to be or that deserves to be served. And he's showing his own body. He says, if you worship this, showing his own body, if you adore this, if you serve this, if you do all kinds of upacharas to this, you will go to, you will attain everything in this world, you will attain everything in higher worlds also. Imam cha amum cha. And therefore, let's now go to the title slide. In the title slide for this session, couple of words from this fourth mantra are taken. Atma eva iha mahayyaha. Atma eva iha paricharyaha. Mahayyaha once more is like Neya, Neya, Geya. Some of you know the simple shloka from Bhajagovindam. Geyam Gita Nama Sahasram Dhyeyam Shripati Rupamajasram Neyam Sajjana Sange Chittam Deyam Dinajanaya Chavittam. Geyam, Dhyeyam, Neyam, and Deyam. Dhye and Dev have a different. So, Gita and Sahasranama have to be sung. The form of Lord Vishnu, Shripati, has to be meditated upon. Our mind has to be led into Satsanga, and our wealth has to be shared with poor people. So, to be given, to be shared, to be meditated. Likewise, Mahayya ends with Ya. This bodily self, that was their understanding. They use the word Atma. Virochana says to all the asuras, showing to his bodily self. This is the self, confirmed, verified. This is the self, and this to be made happy. This to be served. Atma paricharyaha. Therefore, it is said, this kind of totally topsy-turvy thinking, false wisdom, deserves to be called Asura Upanishad. It's also Upanishad, but Asura Upanishad. Demonic understanding, demonic wisdom, which leads to much sorrow to oneself and to others. So, then what happens? Before that, we'll go to the second slide, which is the fourth mantra which I read actually. And in this slide, we have taken just the second half of the fourth mantra, talking about Virochana. It is said, second slide gives the first mantra of the whole khanda. That Udasharave, in a vessel filled with water, they look at their own image. Avekshayad Atmano na vijanita. Prajapati in fact asked them, the question is a bit interesting. Tell me that which is not Atma. But they were so deluded, they looked into the water, and remember the question is Yat Atmanaha na vijanita. What you are not. But they took the whole image, whole reflection to be themselves. Therefore, they did not come back and say, in what we saw in the water, certain aspects were not us. What you are not was supposed to be reported. They said the whole thing is weak. We have earrings, that image also has earring. We have nice hair, that image also has nice hair. We have a long nose, that image also have long nose, etc. Tanme prabhutam, tauha udasharave avekshan chakrate, tauha prajapati uvacha kim pashyataha, tauha uchatuhu, sarvameva idam. That sarvameva idam. There is nothing which we are not. So the pure self is reflected there, body idea. So once more I would say, you and I being very identified and attached to our body, when we see even a photograph of ours, suppose just one ear of our photograph looks a little twisted, we get agitated. Why has it come like that? There's something wrong with the photograph. Get agitated. Delete that picture. My ear looks twisted in that. Not a nose, not the ear, not a eyebrow. Nothing should look bad. If anything in a photograph of ours of last evening's function, let us say, comes to us today and we see some deformity in it, we get quite disturbed. Delete that picture. Isn't there a better picture? Nowadays, even in smartphones, you have a lot of features to edit. Like before, number one, many of us do is if we are seen to be in a dark spot, we can brighten the whole picture. Her face is not clearly seen. Brighten up that picture. They're very identified with everything. So like that here, Sarvam eva idam avam. Avam, aham is single, avam is two of us. We are all this. That image is 100% us. We are 100% that image. Atmanam pashyava. Alomabhyaha anakebhya. Starting with hair anywhere in the body, till even the nails in our fingers or the nails in our toes. Prati Rupam. As we are, that is the image. As the image is, we are. It is said, we see the self of ours as a reflection in its fullness. And in the third and last slide, we have the part of the fourth mantra, as I said a while ago. That's about poor Virochana, who goes all the way to his palace and reports, Sahasanta Hridaya Eva Virochana Asuran Jagama. He went to the Asuras. Tebhyoha etam Upanishadam provacha. The word Upanishad is used even for this wrong understanding. Because he perhaps called it. Here is the Upanishad. So, there is the Upanishad of the wise, and there is the Upanishad of the unwise too. Etam Upanishadam provacha. As the English translation by Swami Gambhirananda goes, to them he spoke of this mystic teaching. The word Upanishad at places simply means mystic teaching. But in the case of what Virochana reported, it was erroneous mystic teaching. Atma eva iha mahayyaha, Atma paricharyaha, Atmanam eva iha mahayan, Atmanam paricharan, Ubhau loka avapnoti, mancha amancha. This world and that world. This world meaning the whole earth is yours. That world means all heavens are yours. An idiomatic expression. So with this we understand that unless we learn properly, and it's not just a matter of what we do in a class, 24 hours, how we conduct ourselves, especially in our privacy, especially when we think nobody is watching. If we take liberty with sense pleasures or some vulgar thoughts, dirty thoughts, thoughts of anger, jealousy, lust, greed, etc., in spite of all our spiritual knowledge, we don't handle it in a mature way. I use that word mature way because when you have a desire to eat, let us say, some sweets, they are not good for your health. To immediately suppress that thought or to take that sweet box and throw into a dustbin or give it to the neighbor and or run away from, that is all childish. Handle your mind. Keep that sweets right in front of you, but exercise, train yourself, look at it, but not to pick with please. No, don't pick it up. Likewise, in many matters, J. Krishnamurti talks of it beautifully. When there is a thought, can you, without condemning it, can you notice that thought? Neither condemning it, nor embracing it, neither justifying that this is a good thought. So what is wrong? I can have this thought. Blah, blah, blah. hold on, don't get into noise. Here is a thought, and can you hold that thought gently in your awareness and examine it? Because that thought is you. That's what you are at this moment. See somebody's very expensive car, and you say, I wish I have that car. Don't condemn yourself. Oh, I'm so materialistic. Don't bring any words. Whatever mind or thought has itself raised, look at it and very sympathetically go about dealing with it. In fact, watching it very calmly is the best way to deal with it. Doing something to thought is not all that mature. Most mature way, if you call it a way, it's not really a way. In a way, you go from point 1 to point 2 to point 3. Way means traveling. But watching is not really a way or a technique or a method or certain progress in a certain direction to handle it. That's why we don't have to go to J. Krishnamurti. In our traditional wisdom also, isn't it said, as we rise higher, rather than mumbling some mantra, chanting some tantra, singing some shloka, and you know, turning the beads of a japamala, clapping or namaskar, etc. Rather than doing this or that, on higher planes of spiritual living, what we learn is to remain silent. It's not the silence of sleep, the silence of maturity. Even if the vulgar thought is still in front of you, you silently watch it. Don't misunderstand mauna to be a literal absence of thoughts. No, there may be thoughts, good thoughts, bad thoughts, vulgar thoughts, noble thoughts. But if you are a mature spiritual seeker, if it's a noble thought, you will not indulge in it thinking, I am almost Vivekananda now. And if it's an ignoble thought, you will not curse yourself. Think, oh, after reading so much, and that too, suppose you have visited the peaceful campus of a Ramakrishna Mission Center. After darshan of Sri Ramakrishna, Sharda Devi and Vivekananda came out, sat on a bench in the shade of a tree. That is when some vulgar thoughts came. So you could condemn yourself. At this Ramakrishna Mission Center, a holy place, my mind is having a bad thought. Oh, like that, if you condemn, blame yourself. It is supposed to be, that is one way, but that's supposed to be a rather childish and immature way. Many people are caught in that. Mature way is, you are aghast, you are surprised how such a vulgar thought is coming in a holy place, but without commenting, look at it. You don't add fuel to the fire. You don't pour oil to the lamp. You look at it. And maybe you understand this is not a thought that should come here, but it has come. What can you do? However, holding it light. So, Krishnamurti has spoken not on such things, but that inside a certain gentle silence, non-judgmental silence towards both good and bad, towards both past and future. 5 minutes ago, suppose you did something terrible. If you are spiritually mature, within 5 minutes, you regain your poise. That doesn't mean you forget the blunder you committed. On phone, you told a lie to somebody, and you put the phone down and it's again, I said I should not have spoken a lie. Oh, reactions, agitations, guilty feeling, fighting and battling with yourself. That is one way. Many people do that. But another way is to recognize a lie fell out from your mouth. You are in a way a bit sad, but save your energy. Not that you justify, but you don't have to condemn yourself. So let's go to the last mantra, not covered in the slides. It is said, Tasmadapi adya, even today, iha adadanam, someone who doesn't do dana. Ashraddha dhanam, someone who doesn't have proper faith. Ayajamanam, one who doesn't do Vedic rituals in a proper way. Yajamana is yajnam karoti iti yajamana. Yajnam na karoti, yajnam yagam va na acharati iti ayajamana. Ahuhu. Therefore, even today, wise people call such sadhaks who talk high Vedanta but who are not generous, who don't do dana, who don't have true faith, who just are lip Vedantis. Then wise people call such sadhaks ahuhu, asuro bata. This is a demonic way of living. Reading Vedanta but living in a wrong way. Asuranam hi Upanishad pretasya shariram vikshaya vasanena alankarena. First of all, their wisdom is Asura Upanishad. Very nice word. Asuranam hi esha Upanishad. And then it is something like, after reading all Vedanta, finally what you do is of such mature kind. It is said that somebody dies and they decorate the dead body. They decorate it with chandana, with flowers, etc., called Bhiksha here. Because in Bhiksha, you not only get food, you may get flowers, you may get chandana, sandal paste. Alankarena iti samskurvanti. They beautify the dead body and then they believe. Now we have beautified the dead body, so the soul, which was residing in this dead body so far, thanks to all that we have done, will go to heaven. One doesn't go to heaven by such decoration of the dead body. If one has done good karma, one goes to heaven. But they forget, after all study of Veda and Vedanta, they settle down to some externalities. By ringing a bell very loudly, by taking on agarbatti 20 rounds, etc., they think they can send the soul to heaven by some drama like that. The soul, the person should have done some works. So with this false wisdom, where body identification continues to rule the roost, as they say, continues to dominate, continues to be strong, is conveyed in this. The next section talks about how Indra, having gone a few steps, comes back and asks Prajapati, Om Namah Paramarshipto Namah Paramarshipta.